All right. Well, everyone, I'm very excited this morning to have Jeanine Patterson speak to us on how her team is using the Shred 10 to really grow their business. And she spoke at our New Mexico virtual regional the other day on a Saturday, and I was intrigued by what she was saying. And I know her time kind of got shortened, and I wanted her to keep talking. Like, I wanted to hear what you had to say, Jeanine, because I just felt it was really valuable. And I know that a lot of us on our team, we do the Shred 10, and we post about it on Facebook and that sort of thing, but I don't feel like we're really doing the best service we can to getting other people to join us and come on board, if that makes sense. So I really feel like we can use your advice with this and your help, and that's why I asked you if you'd be willing to come on. So a couple of things before we get started with that. I wanted to remind everyone about our event that starts today, our Juice Plus Effect event, and keep inviting into it, and don't worry about that you have to only invite at the very beginning. Like, if we get people 4 days from now to hop on, there's just going to be more content in there for them to see, and they can, read through the stories. And so make sure you're reminding your team. I know anyone direct to me that's not a sales coordinator or under a sales coordinator, our day is to post today. And then the rest of you have kind of been divided up. But if you're not sure, just post. Like, don't worry about it. Don't stress. Just get your story in there. And I'll be posting some information each day about the research on Juice Plus to help give that some validity and, back up what these testimonies and stories are sharing. So let's invite well to that. And we have the Stacy Joy event coming up in Montgomery, February 8th. And I want to remind all of you to keep inviting. So I already sent out the information to this huge list, but now it's time this week to go back. Some of them responded, a lot of them didn't. How many times do you get a message on Messenger and then you totally forget that it was there, and you're like, oh, I meant to go back, but you don't see it again until they send you another message and you're like, oh, how did I miss this? So that's just what I'm going to assume. Everyone that has not responded just missed it, and I'm going to send them another message to connect and invite and keep getting those numbers of people up. And if you've not ordered your ticket yet, I encourage you to do so. And if you really want to challenge yourself, buy 10 tickets and then set a goal to get 10 people there, and you can tell them, I've already bought your ticket. That's $50 for 10 people. I mean, it's pretty amazing that Stacy Joy is coming, and we've put a lot of effort into this event, so it's going to be fantastic. You don't want to miss out. And I know up in the northern part of the state, they're doing an event pretty soon. I don't know the exact date of New Mexico that Sherry and Cindy are putting on. Cindy, do you have anything you could share? I'll unmute you real quick if you want to share anything on that.
Oh, hi, there. Am I there? Yes, we have put together an event, and we just wanted to bring others in our community who offer healthy alternatives, if you may. So one is we're going to have hopefully a massage therapist. We haven't been able to get hold of the one that Sherry had. We're also going to have somebody that does foot zoning, somebody who does oils, and she's actually a member on our team. And that talks about meal prepping and the health benefits between that. And we're just going to share how to get more fruits and vegetables in. And then each of these people there are going to speak maybe 5 or 10 minutes on what they have. And then we're going to allow everybody, kind of like everybody's going to be set up around the room so people can mingle and go and talk and visit and get more information, including since the Juice Plus table, we're going to have smoothies we'll hand out at our table and things like that. So that's what we're doing.
And tell us again the date.
It's this coming Saturday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon at Ladera Elementary in Farmington.
Okay. Sounds like a fun event. I wish I was there with you guys.
Yeah, we just kind of made it up. So
I like it. And there's something for everyone. So I think that's a great one.
Yeah, I have a friend who does foot zoning and really wanted to get back into that. And she wanted to do an event with me, but then she was afraid. And I said, let's do it this way. So we took off.
It's brilliant. Well, I think, like I said, it'll easily attract a lot of different people and their interest. And that's a good idea. All right. Does anyone else have any other announcements? If you do, you're muted, so you'll have to unmute yourself. Did I miss any event announcements? No? Nikki is doing dishes, but she's a new fast track VF on our team last week. Woohoo! I think this is her first time being on one of our calls. She's with Rachel Lowry, so that's pretty exciting. All right, Miss Jeanine, I am going to have you start when you are ready. And I've never met Jeanine, right? Have we ever met in person?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. And you're in Albuquerque, correct?
Yeah, I'm in a town right adjacent to Albuquerque. It's called Rio Rancho, but we have a team in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho, so I always put the slash in between because we're in the Albuquerque area, basically. All our big events, if speakers come, are in Albuquerque.
That's right. So we've chatted back and forth on Facebook Messenger a lot, but we've never actually met in person. So we'll have to do that at conference for sure.
Yeah, you bet. And welcome to New Mexico. You moved here recently.
Yes, 6 months ago. I guess, well, maybe 7 months now, but yeah. Well, Jeanine, like I said to you guys earlier, she's been incorporating the Shred 10, and I'm just really excited to learn from you, and I appreciate you taking a time out to be able to do that for us, and just really excited to learn from you. So I'll turn it over to you.
Great, thank you. And thanks for inviting me. I felt very honored for you to ask me after the presentation because that was my very first regional Zoom that I participated in. So I was like, I hope it went well. And then when you asked me to join your team, I thought, I guess it went well. Yay!
Yes, it did. You did great.
Yeah. So I'm going to just start out letting you know a little bit about myself. I'm a registered nurse. I was born and raised in San Diego, actually, and went to school out here in New Mexico and never left because I just love it out here. But I've been a nurse now for going on 34 years. And, you know, I've always wanted to do what's best for my family, just like all of us do, right? I mean, I actually became a nurse because I had no experience in raising children or babysitting because I was the youngest in my family. And I thought, well, maybe if I become a nurse, I'll be a better mom and, you know, be able to raise them and know what to do. It's like, it's all on the job training, right? But in regards to my family history, you know, my mother had quite a few health issues. She had hypertension, psoriasis, chronic kidney disease. She had a bout of breast cancer, which contributed to some of her kidney problems. And I just watched her suffer for so many years. And the doctors were basically giving her a lot of, you know, symptomatic treatment for a lot of her issues. And even though she was on high blood pressure medicine, it never really maintained her pressure enough to not cause some problems with her kidneys. So I watched her suffer quite a bit. And then my biological father died of a brain tumor when he was 29. I was only 1, so I never knew him. So, you know, you have these issues going on in your family and you wonder why, how, what's going on. So I've always, since I was a young kid, always wanted to make sure I was as healthy as I could possibly be. I exercised a lot when I was a kid and I tried to eat a lot of fruits and veggies. I just did that instinctively and tried to stay away from junk, but not to say I didn't go to McDonald's on the weekends. But anyways, I always had that in mind and I always wanted to have kids. And I remember reading an article when I was a teenager saying what you eat today and how the health of your body will influence the health of your child later in the future. And I thought that was really impactful for me. So I started down this health journey of wanting to just look at holistic health measures. And then I was at a diabetes conference. I've worked in various areas of the hospital, med-surg, newborn nursery, helped deliver babies, C-sections. ER was one of my favorite areas for half of my career. And I did occupational health at Intel Corporation as well. So I've done a variety of things. And it wasn't until I discovered Juice Plus and started sharing it and started seeing the results of all of my clients that I felt like, oh my gosh, I can help people so much more doing this. And then when the Shred 10 came to be, it's like, oh man, this is what people need. They need a great detox. They need something to kickstart their lives and then, you know, continue on forever. So I was at a diabetes conference teaching diabetics how much sugar is in foods. And next to me was a nutritionist who is my NMD, who was talking about Juice Plus and all the research behind it. And as an RN, I do enjoy the research part of it. By the end of the conference, I could not wait to talk more with them about it, and got more information and pretty much jumped on board fairly quickly. I first got on the product, but when I started sharing it with my peers at work, everybody started saying, how do you get this stuff? And I said, I don't know, I got it from this person. So I started looking into it, and that's when it kind of rolled into, well, here's the business side of it. Are you interested? And I thought, well, I'll give it a go, but I wasn't sure if I was really going to, it says your internet's unstable. I hope I'm not frozen. Started sharing that, and it just kind of, it just happened. It ballooned, and I knew that this was my quest. So it turned into a wonderful side business, Plan B. I still work full time, but I'm hoping to convert that to a Plan A very, very soon. I'm getting excited about that. So currently I'm a senior sales coordinator. And, but in regards to the Shred 10, now you guys all probably are very familiar with the Shred 10 on the regional. I did still sound here. Let me see what this says. It's okay. Okay. I talked about the basics of the Shred 10, about drinking 2 shakes a day, taking the trio, no gluten, no dairy, no caffeine, no alcohol, no processed foods, drinking half your body weight in ounces, and moving your body every single day to make sure that you're getting some exercise, and then no eating after 6 p.m. But what I wanted to share is, first of all, how I initiate that conversation with someone. So if someone, and you've probably discovered already, everyone needs to be on Juice Plus, right? Everybody. There's no one that it cannot benefit. And then when you run into someone who's having some issues, maybe they have a few extra pounds, whatever, you can initiate that conversation about the Shred 10. And what I do when I find out that they might have some interest is I immediately, on my phone, I'll send them the 2.5-minute video, Jake and Mitra Ray, to give them that quick overview. And if they like that, I'll send them the 23-minute video to give them more information so that they know exactly what's going to happen when they do the shred. From there, if they're interested, I'll place their order. And then we do have a discussion about whether they get 1 box or 4 boxes of shakes, because I do want to make sure that they know right off the bat, this is a 10-day jump start. This is not just a 10-day program and you're done. However, I let them know it only takes 10 days to change their whole microbiome of their gut. It only takes a few days actually, but you have to keep fleshing out your system. And that's pretty exciting for people when, with all this stuff going that's out here now about the microbiome and how your stomach is your second brain and how it controls your body. People get excited knowing, gosh, I can do that in 3 or 4 days and then just, continue on for that 10-day period. So I want to make sure that they understand the 4-month period, how it takes 4 months for all of your blood to completely regenerate. And how can you imagine how you would feel having all of these nutrients of almost 50 phytonutrients of fruit, vegetables, berries, plants from land and sea in your body at that 4-month mark when all of your blood is new. And then, of course, I always talk about that 1-year milestone when every cell in your body is brand new, like you have a whole new body. So can you imagine? So just to get them excited that this is not short-term, it's long-term. And then from there, what my team does is we do a Zoom call, a Q&A shred Zoom call the weekend before the shred starts. We, along with you guys, I'm sure you guys do the shred every month like everybody else does, right? On the same days. And we love doing that. But we've instituted a Zoom call, and one of my peers, who her mother was like a really great meal planner. She said that the kids used to take their naps and they would have to sit quietly for at least an hour after they woke up while mom did meal planning for the family. And I thought that was kind of cool because this gal and her sister do these shred Q&A overviews for our customers. And what we're finding out is they have a lot more questions than we knew. My dad, for instance, was doing the shred. He came to my house. I talked with him and a friend who wanted to do it with him, talked to him, gave him the shred guide, went through it, and then only to find out they were drinking decaf coffee and lactose-free milk, during the shred. And so I checked in with them on the first couple of days and realized that. So there's just some additional education you really do have to do. So for those educational sessions, we do cover why you cannot drink caffeine, and why. What kind of foods are gluten related, so which ones you can eat, which ones you can't eat, and what no dairy means, no milk, no dairy whatsoever, and what exactly that means. Because I don't know if you noticed, but one of my shredders this past month posted that she was mixing her shakes with half milk and half almond, half skim milk. And I asked her why she was doing that. I said, if you could please get rid of that skim milk, that would be beneficial. And she said, well, on the back of the shake bag, it says to mix it with skim milk. And I thought, oh, okay, I never even read that. So I didn't realize that. So I shared that with my team so that they would know. But the bottom line here is they do have a lot of questions, and they do need some help before jumping into it to make sure that they're on board if they're going to do it for that full 10 days, very strict. And we also provide other websites and ideas for meal planning and other things. The other thing we do, and my team and I do that here in Albuquerque, and the Tucson team does it as well, is we have food prep parties the weekend before the shred. So on a Sunday, like for instance, yesterday, we've done the salad in a jar parties, which are super popular. We've done soup in a jar, which are extremely popular too during the winter. And then yesterday we did a taco salad in a jar. Someone came up with that idea, and we thought, wouldn't that be fun? It was a blast. And everyone just had a great time with that. And we keep them shred friendly. If they're off the shred, they can have a little cheese and maybe some, tostada crunchies on top. But otherwise, we keep them shred friendly. So before every shred, we make sure that we have some kind of food prep party to invite people to. And that makes it easier for them because they have all of their lunches for the week, right? Because everyone goes home with 3 to 5 jars of food, and they're all shred friendly. So that makes it easy as well. And it's just a nice, fun thing to do to kick that off. The other thing I wanted to mention is when I talk about the shred, I want to make sure that they realize how our shred stands out from any other detox program that's out there. And I talk about how it is a detox, a cleanse, a repair, and reverse. And that repair and reverse is what stands us apart from any other detox out there, because we're flooding our body with all the nutrients. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think, oh, I can do this other cleanse or this cleanse and that cleanse, but they're not repairing and reversing what's going on. So I make sure that they know that. And then when I'm talking about the toxic exposures that people have, I want to make sure that they understand that it's impossible to stay away from it, from the environmental toxins, from the food toxins. And as a nurse, I took a course recently on the environmental toxins that are out there. So sometimes I'll go into a little more detail of all those toxins, the BPAs and all the exposures that we have, all the endocrine disruptors, the phthalates that are in everything, including nail polish, that type of thing. So I want to make sure that they're fully aware that these toxic contaminants are everywhere and unavoidable. So it's really essential to do a detox as frequently as they can. They can't do it every month. They could do it every other month or even quarterly. But it's very, very important to do that to maintain the health. So I do touch on that a bit more. And then one of the things that my team was doing before we started this Q&A is we did these educational sessions every week. We'd have an educational session. One would be on nutrition and how important nutrition was throughout their lives, period, right? The next one would be on how important exercise is and how to make it easy to get exercise. The next one would be on adequate hydration and how critical hydration is and all the tips that we can throw in on keeping your body flooded with water. And then our final one would just be overall healthy tips that you can do throughout the year, every single day to stay healthy. So we did those educational sessions as well, just to keep members engaged and keep them going. And we found that people that participate in these sessions just want to keep going. They want to do the shred every single month with us. We do have our own private Facebook page that we include people in, and we only include them if they're on our shakes and our product. We don't include people that just want to do it and use their own products. They have to be definitely on our shakes. And we will tell them we have research behind our shakes, and you will not have the same results if you're not taking our complete shakes and using another product. So we don't include them because, they might be saying, I'm not feeling anything, or I'm not getting results. We don't want to have that on our Facebook page for people that are being completely compliant with our products. Okay, what else here? Let's see. I may have covered. Oh, the other thing I wanted to also let you know is, I just love our shred guides. We got them at last conference, and when they join the Facebook page, they have access to everything, right? The cookbooks and the grocery lists and all of that. But for some of my really dedicated shredders that have really jumped on board and continue to do it, over the holidays, I sent them the cookbook as a gift for some of my dedicated shredders. They only run about $10 or something when it comes down to it. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful booklet. And they really appreciated that. They were so excited to get it. And they seem to want to continue shredding as well. So it just makes for long-term customers and hopefully raving fans in the future. So let's see. How am I doing on time, Stacy?
Oh, you're fine. You're doing great.
It was nice getting, not having to rush. Well, let me just quickly peek at my notes to see if I've left anything out. Yeah, I guess the only other things that I may not have covered was the no alcohol and caffeine. We go into the talk about how important it is to make your body as alkaline as possible, and how these things make your body very acidic. So we go into the little physiology of that so that they understand how important it is, so that they're not cheating and using some of these things when it could completely mess up their shred. So we just want to make sure that they're doing everything as followed for that full 10 days. Of course, if we can text them in between. I love it when they're on the Facebook page and they're posting as much as possible, because that's when me and all of my team can jump on board and say, you're doing great, keep it up. That's a fantastic recipe, thanks for sharing, And people have told me over and over again how much that helps them keep going when we're providing that support on that Facebook group and just giving those positive comments along the way. So that's kind of what our team does. And the one thing I did mention, forgot to mention, is over the holidays we did a 10-day detox, and we incorporated the cranberry detox drink. We've done it every year, but this year our team decided we were going to make a jingle and invite people, whether they were on the product or not, to jump on in, and every single day we'd add something, and it was all related to the shred. So on the regional, I only sang half of the song, but like, for example, we wanted the 5th day to be the big day, right? So on the 5th day it was go gluten, dairy free. And then after that it was drink a lot of water, get your workout on, tips for stress reduction. And don't forget to drink your cranberry cocktail detox drink, So we all wore hats, and we wore all kinds of fun decorations for the holidays. And we had over 400 people join that Facebook group, super excited, asking questions, and we all got new customers from that. So we thought that was a fun thing to do during the holidays. And of course, we build it up leading to it, saying, we're not going to pack on those extra holiday pounds. We're going to maintain, and this is how we're going to do it. We're going to keep our detox going. So, and still have fun over the holidays. So that was one new thing also that we did. So we've incorporated that, and then the new Zoom calls. And we're seeing a lot of excitement and energy, and more people coming on board, and customers bringing their friends on board. And it's really building our business. So that's what we're doing. Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like you guys are building a good community around it, and really doing, like, month by month, continuing the same, Shred 10 activity,
Yes.
we're building that momentum. And
Mm-hmm.
I think something that you said that stuck out to me Saturday and today, talking about your microbiome, and you can change that even within a couple of days. But
Yes.
the no cheating part, like that's definitely on my end, because I'll do the shred, but if I have a cup of coffee every once in a while, I'm not like, oh, darn, you had that coffee. And I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't say, like, sometimes I'm more, okay, no coffee at all. And then I'll be like, absolutely no gluten at all. And I'll do good with that. And I don't think I've ever done a shred where I've been like on with all of them. And, but yet I'm very motivated by what you just said, in that if your microbiome changes in 4 days, you
Mm-hmm.
have to keep it changed. Like, you can't just shred for 4 days. Oh, I have, my happy microbiome, and
Right.
then muddy that water again. So for 10 days to really allow your body to get rid of those toxins after that. So I don't know if there's anything else you want to expand on that, but I think that's a deeper why that I really haven't understood before.
Yeah. So yeah, literally, it can take only 3 days, and that's what I tell my customers. I say, if you have detox symptoms, you might feel them on day 1 up to day 3, but that is it. By day 4, you're going to be feeling great, because your whole microbiome is completely changed over after 3 days if you followed it very, very strictly. But from there, and you're literally even releasing parasites that are in your gut. It sounds gross, but that's true. And that's why you have to flood your body with half your body weight in ounces of water to flush them out for a full 10 days. And that's the second part of it. But most of my customers might have 1 day of headache or mild detox symptoms, hardly ever 3, unless they're just, they were really, really bad eaters. But once they know, if they can get through day 3, that they've hit the ground running, and it's all downhill from there. So that's what I like to make sure that they're aware of, because once that microbiome is changed, their health is going to be great for the rest of the month. And then of course I tell them, if for any reason they had to be on antibiotics, that they have to shred immediately when they're done, because they basically strip their gut of all the good flora, the good gut flora, and really have to get it back to normal. So I tell them, even for their children, try to do the same thing, and just cut these things out to get their guts healthy again.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that's so great, Jeanine. I really appreciate that. I will open it up to anyone else. Remember, you're muted, so if you want to talk, unmute yourself to ask Jeanine a question. Anyone? Go ahead, Marissa.
Hello, Jeanine. Sorry
Hi.
I was a little late. We were getting my kindergartner off to school.
Oh, no problem.
I appreciate what I've heard so far, and you were just talking about, especially even with kids. So a good friend of mine, I know, I was telling Stacy this, her son has chronic croup, and he's 11, and every year he gets it multiple times.
Wow.
And so obviously, to save his life, he gets the antibiotics or the steroids, and and the doctors had told him, and I was telling her the other day, that's hard on his immune system, which is probably why he keeps getting it. And he gets strep, and he gets every cold and the flu and everything that comes around, because his immune system is shot. He's 11. So, and she has 4 kids like me. They're all good friends, but he's the one that gets everything. So how do I approach that? I always worry that I'm approaching it in a way of, I don't want to make the mom feel guilty.
Right,
But
exactly.
I worried that I did that the other day. I'm hoping I didn't. We're good friends, but
Yeah. So my daughter has 2 little boys. I have 2 grandkids, and she shreds every single month as well, along with us. And she is always telling me how, well, first of all, the boys are crazy about the shakes. Even her 1-year-old loves those shakes and loves the Juice Plus gummies. And when he's not feeling well, the only thing he will eat or drink are the shakes and the gummies, which she's so excited, so fortunate that that's going on. But when she's doing the shred, she makes all her meals that are shred friendly, and offers them to the kids as well. And most of the time they will eat most of that food, without having any gluten. She uses a lot of rice. She uses quinoa. She uses other things that don't, without having the bread or the gluten. And they're off of dairy completely. So they have totally adjusted their lives, and the kids are eating that way as well. But I guess if you could somehow let her know that, it only takes a few days of this, and you can see the difference in your child, and maybe, even with their bowel movements and everything like that, and how their tummies feel. Maybe she, and maybe if she did it, has she done the shred before? And if she did, to see if
No.
she would feel, okay, yeah. So maybe she's the one that needs to do it, or say, "Look, do it as a family. It's so much easier. My husband and I do it together, and it's so much easier when we're doing it together, because we just totally support each other through it." But yeah, that would be, if she understands the physiology behind it and how it can change that whole gut biome very quickly, even for a child, I just think that it'll click. It'll click in her head and go, I should at least give it a try. What's it going to hurt?
Okay.
Is she on the product at all?
Sorry, what?
Is she on the products?
I'm trying to get her there.
Okay.
I think she's interested. It's just getting over that hump. But I think we'll get there. She really, I know it'd be really good for them. So would you say after the 3 days and then that whole 10 days, the shred, you don't think that they need to continue to be off gluten, or were they?
No, I think they should continue as best you can. But if the mom knows that in 3 days, it can change the whole microbiome of her child, and she's done that, then it's going to be worth her while to keep going, to keep that going and keep flushing all those toxins out.
Just keep going, not 10 days, just keep going as a lifestyle change. The gluten, the dairy, and the sugar. Yeah,
do the 10 days, see how they feel. And then, our maintenance program really is, reducing, because it's very, very hard for everyone to continue to eliminate all of those. Some people it's not. Some people don't drink caffeine. Some people don't drink alcohol. But for people that usually have all those things, it's going to be very difficult. But it would be very good if she could incorporate that lifestyle moving forward. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyone else?
One more thing, don't forget to mention that there are prebiotics in those shakes and then probiotics in our capsules, which contributes to the gut health.
Jeanine, can you explain the prebiotic and the probiotic? Like, their different roles?
Yes, the prebiotics basically enhance the role of the probiotic, right? It's getting your guts ready for all the great things that the probiotics do. So our capsules actually do contain probiotics, and that's what's different between the gummies and the capsules, right? Because the way they make the gummies, it somehow negates the probiotic effect. But the shakes, I'm trying to think of the term, the oligosaccharide or whatever that Dr. Jan Roberti talks about. They are prebiotics, so it's preparing your gut to accept the good things that the probiotics do. So that combination is quite wonderful for our guts as well.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else have a question?
Yeah, I had a question. This is Rachel. My biggest struggle when I shred are my sugar cravings. And I've had questions about the sugar that's in the shakes as well as the sugar that's in the chewables. And I don't know how to answer that when I'm telling people to cut sugar out, but to go ahead and allow this. Could you help us with that?
Oh, absolutely. There's 3 of us that do the Transform Your Health. We do these presentations where we go through, the products and then what the shred does. And one of the slides, which I have seen, in various decks, and I'm sure Mitra has it in hers, is that whole hypoglycemia, the sugar index, and how your cravings are directly related to your blood sugar level. And why our shakes are so wonderful, because it maintains a very level blood sugar because of the combination of the carbs and protein. They're equal. And what it does is, instead of spiking your blood sugar like many shakes that are on the market, or other foods in general like bagels and cream cheese and that type of thing, it keeps your blood sugar very level. And when your blood sugar is level, that completely contributes to cravings, and it reduces your chances of falling off the wagon and wanting something, because your blood sugar is maintained. So I like to show that one chart where it shows a spike on other foods and how our shakes are very stable. And I think even our protein, our complete shake flyer kind of talks about that, about maintaining our sugar levels. My NMD was a major sugaraholic, and she got that completely under control. I've had people ask me the same thing. I'm such a sugar addict. What do I do? And I talk about how the glycemic index is very, very stable from our shakes. And if they need to have more than 2 shakes a day, if they need a snack in the evening to maintain that sugar level and stay away from those cravings, that's the way to do it.
And that has to do with the amount of fiber and the amount of protein. So you
Yes.
can put something like a candy bar. It has really high sugar, low protein, low fiber. So that means your insulin goes up and it spikes pretty high, and then it's going to spike and fall down fast. So protein and fiber make it slowly go back down like it should, and then you're hungry again. So if you can add protein, you know, anytime you have a sugar load, like I remember if the kids were at like their grandma's house and she like gave them a ton of sugar and they came home and they were just insane crazy, I was like, I need to get some protein into their bodies. I would get protein into them, and you would see that they would level back out and they would come back to normal a lot faster. So that could be an aspect of it too. And you know, the protein within the shake being from a plant source, you're not worried about, you know, toxins like in lunch meat or something like that you might typically reach for. But so having some sort of, you know, protein snack can help if you have a sugar craving too, which seems kind of weird, but I've seen that really work well. And then what else did you say? Oh, about the gummies. Remember that on the gummy package, when you look at the ingredient, you know, we're taught that the first ingredient means that there's the most of that in the into the product. So if the first ingredient is tapioca syrup, and I don't remember if that's the very first one, on that label, it would look like the majority of that gummy is made up from tapioca syrup. But what I want you guys to know is about the labeling, the way that the label is. If they were able to say fruit powder or vegetable powder and clump it together, then that would by far be the most of what that gummy is made of. But because they have to break it down to apples, cherries, pineapple, papaya, and they have to break it down and say exactly what's in there, then it doesn't go to the first ingredient. But there's more fruit and vegetable powders than anything else, but there's not more apple only powder. Does that make sense? So just because that's not on the top of the thing on the list, if they could list it as fruit and vegetable powders, that would by far be the first ingredient, but because they have to list them singly. So if somebody's concerned, like, hey, the first ingredient on here is tapioca syrup, that's what I explain to them. And that usually negates that.
Right. And then you just go look at the sugar, and it's only 2 grams. So that kind of clarifies that.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for clarifying the fiber and protein.
Anyone else?
I have a question. I just have to get to a quiet spot.
Yeah.
Okay. Say you have a new team member and you would like to train them on the shred. What would you do? Do you already have notes like printed out already to just be like, okay, this is where I want you to go to train yourself on the shred? Do you have like because I'm going to go back and take notes on exactly what you've said, but I just want to know, if you have a new team member, where do you have that already set out? Like, where do you send them?
Yeah. Well, for all of my team members, you know, I make sure that they have, you know, the packets that new team members get don't really cover the shred, right? But I put together a binder actually of some critical 1-pagers. And, you know, I showed this on the regional, you know, I have this in their binder so that they have a quick knowledge, and I know this is backwards on the screen, but a quick knowledge of what it entails. And then I have them watch the videos. to make sure that they're fully aware of what that looks like. And then, of course, we have the shred guide. So I just make sure that they understand the basics of it. And then we have routine, calls where we educate, where we invite customers to, where we go through all of our products and the shred. So all new distributors also, join in on those calls where they can invite people to and get that information. But, there's so many resources. We do have the Healthy Living Revolution as a resource to look at. I don't like to overwhelm them with that right off the bat because I'm still trying to get them trained on some other things just to get started. But maybe, in the second week, going into that and looking at those videos.
Thank you, and I really enjoyed you today. Thank you. You're fantastic.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, anyone else? All right, well, let me stop the recording.